On a winter night in Gary, Indiana, a hospital room fell silent as a 9-year-old smiled strangely, took his grandmother's hand, and walked backward up a wall toward the ceiling, then flipped and landed on his feet as stunned adults looked on. Some called it mass panic or misremembered physics. Others called it the clearest sign that something in that Carolina street house wanted to be seen. If unnerving, well-documented cases are the kind of stories wanted, subscribe to True Gloom Tales, tap the bell, and share this episode with someone who says they trust only what's written down. The Demon House of Gary, Indiana, the Ammons case, records, witnesses, and a story that refuses to die. December 2011, Ammons and her mother, Rosa Campbell, noticed swarms of black flies covering their screened-in porch despite the cold. They killed them over and over, but the flies kept coming back, a small, stubborn detail that felt like a warning. Soon came footsteps, voices, and a sense that the house had an inside agenda. Reports described a daughter levitating from her bed and a son speaking in a voice that didn't sound like his, as objects moved and shadows felt physical. The story pulled in hospital staff, the Department of Child Services, and police, making this more than a rumor shared over a fence. Then came the hospital incident, the wall walk, which would anchor national headlines. According to state documents summarized by BBC, medical staff heard growling, saw eyes roll back, and reported a child being lifted and thrown against a wall. In that same sequence of events, a DCS family case manager and a healthcare professional described the child walking up the wall, backward and flipping over, leaving the room in terror. The Indianapolis Star later reviewed extensive records with signed releases, helping to fix this account in print. Police and clergy visited the Carolina Street home, noting a basement altar, rings of salt, and a rough patch of dirt beneath the stairs that family members believed was the source of the problem. An officer's audio recorder reportedly failed with fresh batteries, and an oil-like residue wiped from blinds reappeared after the room was sealed, according to police notes cited by the Star. A veteran Gary police captain said the walkthrough changed his mind about what was possible. As concerns mounted, authorities temporarily removed the children while clergy prepared deliverance and exorcism rites for the mother. Months later, the children returned, with the case entering a quieter phase as investigators, clergy, and reporters moved on. Still, the record remained. Interviews, reports, and notes that could be revisited, reinterpreted, and disputed for years. Skeptical summaries point to alternate explanations: stress, suggestibility, misperception, and the power of belief framing unusual behavior. Some witnesses and a landlord said they experienced nothing strange, and later tenants reported no activity, feeding claims of exaggeration or hoax. Major outlets revisiting the story in 2024 emphasized the split between chilling testimony and the mundane explanations that skeptics argue fit the facts. The sensational 2014 story boosted the house into folklore and real estate headlines as ownership changed hands in the glare of publicity. In 2024, The Deliverance, directed by Lee Daniels, reimagined the case, pulling the Ammons saga back into the cultural conversation. Explainers from Time and the New York Times reframed the record for a new audience, balancing the indelible details with enduring doubts. This case sits on a fault line between documentation and belief. Papers filled out by professionals and experiences that resist lab conditions. The image of a child scaling a wall the salty rings in a basement, and a recorder blinking out. These images linger because they feel like evidence, even as they invite alternate readings. Whatever lived on Carolina Street, the investigation left a map of fear, faith, and paperwork that remains unnervingly hard to file away. If a grounded, case-file approach to true horror is compelling, subscribe to True Gloom Tales, tap the bell, and comment with the next case that deserves a deep read.